Schools regular board meeting April 17th, 2023. Would you please stand for the pledges? Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico and see a symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
Again, thank you. Welcome everybody to the board meeting tonight. Just a reminder to everybody, the only items that will be discussed today is the items on this agenda. We'll start with the Board of Education issues and administer oath.
Barbara.
Okay. Oh, okay. Go ahead. For our new board member, welcome, Mrs. Cole again.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us tonight. Go ahead, please.
I, Guadalupe S. Cole, having been appointed to the office of member of the Lordsburg Municipal School Board of Education in Hidalgo County,
having been appointed to the office of member of the Lordsburg Municipal School Board of Education in Hidalgo County,
State of New Mexico,
State of New Mexico,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and laws of the State of New Mexico,
the Constitution and laws of the State of New Mexico,
faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of said office to the best of my ability, so help me God.
and faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of said office to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Again, welcome.
Great privilege.
Moving right along. Approval of agenda. Is there a motion to accept the agenda as written, please?
Make that motion to approve the agenda.
Motion by Ms. Esquivel. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Cole. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Approval of minutes, regular meeting March 20, 2023. Any questions or comments or statements on these? No? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve minutes as written for the regular meeting of March 2023.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Ms. Esquivel. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Samuels. All in favor?
Aye. I will abstain as I was not part of the board at the time.
Fine. For the record, Ms. Cole abstains. Five, Board of Education issues. Letter A, Dr. Lucas.
Right, just a reminder, as a board, you're required to get 5 hours of training every year.
Yes.
I send each of you your hours via email, so try to get the 5.
On that note, just a reminder, like he says, Joe Guillen always sends me reminders to remind all of you. Be sure and try and get the training hours that we need, please. And they're gonna start looking at them, I guess, a little closer, so we can keep track of them.
And I think the REC is trying to set up a training, but it may not be in time to count for this year, but where you can go to Deming or maybe even do it online and get like
So
3 or
like I
4
said,
hours.
if I get any emails, and that comes also from originating board members and stuff, okay, so thank you. Keep that in mind. Law conference there, Dr.
Right, just a reminder, just to give you a heads up, upcoming school law conference, June 1 through 3rd, 2023. Albuquerque.
Yes, be sure and let Barbara know, I think.
Yeah, or you can email me or Barb.
Yes, I for one.
Yeah.
Okay.
On these trainings, is it at the end of this December year, or is it
I think it's in December, right?
I will have to
We'll have
ask
to
Joe. I don't know if it goes
ask
in fiscal year. I would assume it would be fiscal year like schools.
So maybe so. Yeah.
So then you
Okay.
have until June. So like school law
Uh-huh.
should be able to catch any of
Because I know
you.
in September, right, it's fall regional in
Right.
Deming
Right,
this
We
year.
can get some there.
So that's what I was asking, like,
right. So like you should be able to go in June.
I can
Yeah.
shoot that up to Joe and
Right.
ask her. Okay. Good question.
Okay. And then,
Okay, go ahead, Dr. Lucas.
okay, so the next one's for the board book presentation.
Yes,
And Hal, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay, and does he have control? Can he show presentation? So you should be able to show presentation, whatever you need to do.
Okay, okay. Thank you all for having me, first of all.
Yes, sir.
And let me share my screen. Let's go here. And then we will go. Well, that's not the first thing I wanted to show you. I wanted to go here first. Let me start off by essentially saying this to everyone. This is Hal Frazier with Board Book. This isn't really a rehearsed speech for me, but I don't have a lot to show you guys. And the reason why I'm saying that is because the board experience within Board Book Premier is a very simple one. So I don't have a long flowery speech or any type of sales pitch to give you guys. And you'll see what I mean when I say it's a very simple program and product to use. Since you all are looking for a product right now, is there anything off the top of your heads that you deem as the most important? If not, I can launch into 3 things that I've heard from other board members.
who would,
Yeah, probably the 3 things from the
we
other
need to
board.
hear.
We have not discussed this a lot, so this is just their initial.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So does everyone in the room know what Board Book is? Or you can kind of have an idea, correct?
Right.
Okay. These are the 3 things that I've heard going to conferences and just talking to board members. The biggest thing that we always hear typically is how can you get rid of, or how can we as a board get rid of the excess paper that's associated with board meetings. The second thing is typically, what about transparency for our public? The third thing is typically, searching for additional information. What I'm going to show you guys today, in roughly, probably, I think I told Steve about, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes or so, is just the board experience. Again, from the board experience from Board Book Premier side. And like I said, there's really not a lot to it. What you're viewing right now, or what you see, is the start of everything. So essentially, as you guys know, Board Book Premier is an agenda preparation and meeting program. It was created to essentially eliminate all of the paperwork that's associated with board meetings. Okay. So that you could view all of your meeting material using whatever device that you want to, your phone, your tablet, laptop, whatever you have at your disposal. Okay. Everything starts for the board within Board Book Premier from what you're seeing here, which is an email that is created with your meeting material in mind. So let's kind of take a look at that, for example. Just looking at the email that you just received, you would receive a meeting notification. Now, all of your meeting material, just like it stands now, would be created by either your superintendent or the administrative assistant, whoever that may be. They're putting all of the meeting information together for you. So once they're done and the meeting materials are created, you would receive an email that looks just like this. Okay, it might have some different tweaks. It may look a little bit different. Keep in mind that on their particular side of the house, they could put your logo on there, whatever you'd want to see as far as a meeting notification. But as far as this notification here that you see on your screen right now, down at the bottom where it says attached meeting links, this is your meeting material. So once the meeting is created, you're going to get an email meeting notification, and it's going to have a link. As a board member, once you click on this link, like I'm doing right now, this is going to take you out to BoardBook Premier. And this is how you're actually going to start receiving your meeting material. Now, of course, this might be the second email that you receive. First one, you would have already set up your own credentials, your user ID and your password. So that when you do get this meeting notification and you click on this link, you're just going to log into the program. And just by clicking on that link, it's going to take you immediately to your meeting information. And what you're viewing here is the paperless view of your meeting. So this is the paperless view of BoardBook Premier. Just by looking at this screen, this is the meeting itself. So just kind of take a look at it. You see the meeting agenda is over to the left-hand side. That's the entire agenda that has been created, from my welcome and introduction all the way down to my wrap up and my Q&A. And anytime you click on any one of these items, it's going to show you what's underneath, or what I consider underneath that item, or what that item is all about. So if I clicked on, let's say, sample documents, whatever you click on, you're going to see in that middle pane. So when I clicked on sample documents, you see the description of the item. You see if there's a recommended motion that's out there, any links that are associated to the meeting, and also any attachments. Okay, so again, this is actually replacing whatever paperwork you may be receiving or whatever PDF that you may get. Okay, so as far as looking at the information, if you click on a link, of course, it's just going to open up a URL. That's if you guys use links for your meetings. It's just going to open up a URL and take you to that particular website. As far as seeing any of the attachments, it's just a matter of clicking on the attachment to open it up. And it opens up a document viewer just to kind of show you your attachments. Also within the program, just like you do now when you might write little notes, or you may highlight something or anything like that within the meeting, you can also do that within the program itself, and it will save that information for you. And I'm going to mention something about the notes here in a minute. But if I wanted to make a note just on this particular document, let's say for this sample agenda action sheet, I wanted to make a quick note. It's just a matter of clicking a few buttons and then typing in whatever information that you want to say. So I'm just going to say, this is a note, and save it. And that's just, again, taking a note on a document itself. If I wanted to make a note on an item, I could go back over to the agenda. And if I click on, let's say, welcome and introduction, and I select it, up here in the right-hand corner, you see a notes field that expands out. That notes widget is on every single item within your meeting agenda. So if I wanted to make a note here, I'm just going to type in, this is a note again, and save that information. And if you notice, when I make a note on an item, when you look at the meeting agenda, it's actually next to welcome and introduction. It's basically telling me, hey, there's a little memo icon that's there. Now, the thing about the notes that's important to note is they're not shareable. Okay, so there's no sharing of notes. That note is actually tied to that particular person's account. Now, again, like I said at the very beginning, the first thing that's typically important for board members is that I've heard is, hey, you know, we're trying to get away from the paper that we're using. Okay, this actually takes the place of all of that. Now, as far as taking like maybe baby steps, especially if a board is used to, hey, I'm used to using a PDF, you can still print out a fully paginated PDF if you needed to, or if you're just used to using a PDF, you can still download that information if you wanted to. That's totally left up to you. And in order to do so, Premiere, again, just doesn't throw you into the paperless realm. So if I go tools and I go to reports and I go to download agenda and attachments, Now, when I select that, as you probably noticed, a pane popped out to the right. Now, yours won't look like this, okay? But you may have your own logos and template to make it look nice. But again, this is just a way that you can still get a PDF if that's, what you're used to using. So of course, if I click download, and I'm just going to pull the actual PDF itself. And this is just something that we kind of kept within the program, because I know at one point in time, this is all pretty much what you would receive is the PDF. But this is just a PDF of the entire meeting. And again, I always like to show it, like I said, as a just in case. And typically when you go through a training or whatever, they may mention, hey, if you still want to print and you still want to take baby steps as a board and say, hey, we're still going to want to print or pull up a PDF, you still can. Another thing that I want to mention as far as the board side goes is up here at the top where you see follow and you see raise hand. Okay. Now this helps to alleviate an issue that we would hear about every once in a while. And it may not happen on you guys' end, but there was enough suggestions for it that our developers actually put it in. But let me show you how it actually works. If I go up here and I'm just going to log out, but I'm going to log back in as the person that you may have at your district that's actually running the meeting in order to show you what those two functions will actually do. So let me log in real quick as the person that's running the meeting. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually show you guys a split screen. Let me go into the meeting itself. So this is the April 20th meeting. Let's go ahead and click to open and join it. And I'm actually going to make this a little bit smaller so that I can fit. I'm going to show you guys, like I said, a split screen. So I'm going to bring over the board member. Let's go ahead and get in there. Hold on a second while I get in there. Let's go to that April 20th meeting, and then I'll go ahead and move it over here. I thought I already had it open, but I guess I didn't. And as you can see, when I bring this over, the person running the meeting, if they click lead and the board member clicks follow along, wherever the leader goes, the board member will follow along. So as you notice, when I clicked on, let's click on sample documents, it actually changed for both sides. So you probably noticed that when I did it for the person that's leading, the board member is following along. And the issue that we would hear about is, hey, sometimes in board meetings, things can get a little bit chaotic. And so sometimes it was taking time for boards to get back to the document that they were looking at or the item itself. So using this particular functionality, if I click on an attachment, let's click on the action sample, it's actually just going to open up that document on both sides for the leader and for the board member. One thing I want to mention too about Premiere is it is a cross-browser system. So whatever you guys currently use, in this particular example that I'm giving you, on the left-hand side, the person that's actually running the meeting, I'm running Microsoft Edge, and the actual board member in this case is using Firefox, but you can use Google Chrome, you can use Safari. All of that is totally left up to you. Now going back to the second thing that I had mentioned that's important for typically what we hear about boards is transparency and showing things to the public. Essentially, within Board Book Premier, everything would be run, and I'm just going to remove the board side for a second. Everything would be run within Premier. So when the time comes, we do have a public link. And with that public link, you're able to take the URL. Our support team would actually give you that, give that to whoever your webmaster may be. They could actually post that on your website. That way, anytime an agenda is created, anytime that there are minutes that are associated to that meeting, that can be published. The status can change to published, and that would actually show up on your website to actually show the agenda. Once a meeting has been published, your agenda will actually show up. I'll just kind of give you just a really short example or quick example of what that may look like. So if I go to my public homepage, again, this is kind of a simplistic view of it, but I do have an example. Let me give you an example of, I'll give you an example of a district that's actually using the public side of things. Let's see. I think they're all at the bottom. Let me see. That's Forest Hills. Hold on a second. I'm going to find another one. One that I've been using quite a bit. This district is actually in Michigan, but if I click here, oops, this is what their public site would actually looks like. So I see they actually have a meeting tonight. It's probably already gone on since this is Michigan. They're an hour ahead of where I am in Texas. But this is what their public site would actually look like. So this is where their transparency comes in, and they actually are posting their agendas. And this is what their site actually looks like. So you can show your public whatever you want to see as far as this particular district goes. They're looking at, they show the presenter, the description, the attachments. And this is their information. And then lastly, the last thing that I wanted to kind of mention, I'm going to bring this board member back over. The last thing that I wanted to mention was actually being able to search for information. And within the search field, you see the search options that are on there. So even if you're a board member and you take a note, you can actually, look for that particular note. And as you can see, there is a date range that you can put out there as well. I'm just going to type in note and see what comes up. Under personal notes and all that. And then it's basically telling me, hey, this is where you actually put this as a note on these particular documents that are out here. Questions?
Any questions from the board?
No, sir.
This is an annual subscription, correct?
Yes, sir, it is.
And does it run like, so our fiscal year is like July 1 through the end of June.
Mm-hmm.
So we could set up the year to run concurrent with our fiscal year?
Yes, you can.
Okay. And what kind of trainings do y'all provide to get us? Is it online or do you provide?
The agenda managers, the person that's actually putting all of the meetings together, yes, it would be online. Everything would be virtual as far as the trainings. And then once you're actually set up, once the agenda managers and the organizational administrators at your district are trained, you'd have access to videos and handouts to show the board at your leisure.
Okay.
Any questions, comments, statements? Just for us more information.
Okay. So I'll gather some more information and send to them, and we'll discuss it further.
Yes.
Because we won't be implementing until July anyway, if we do go this way.
So we can put it on next month's
Yes.
agenda so we can have
Right.
a discussion on it.
Yeah.
And if you could send us more information, so we would appreciate it.
Okay, will do.
Okay,
Thank you.
appreciate your time, Hal.
All right. Thank you all.
Ah,
Bye now.
Number 7, reports, Dr. Lucas.
Okay, so for administration, we do have Kaylee, are you on there?
Yes, I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes. So start off with bond report for under administrative reports. And that is the handout. Well,
Wonderful. Well, if you guys have the presentation in front of you, then I won't go ahead and share my screen. So good evening, Mr. President, members of the board. My name is Kaylee Weimerskirch with RBC Capital Markets, your municipal advisors. I'm here tonight to just give a brief overview of how the district's recent bond sale went. So on my first page here, I have the district's transaction summary for the 2023 bonds. The district sold $500,000 back on February 27th. This issuance has already closed. It closed back on April 7th. This issuance has a 12-year maturity that has a final maturity in 2034 and is callable in 2033. The true interest cost for this issuance came out to a little over 2%. We're pleased with this result considering that the 10-year treasury is currently trading at 3.6%. This puts the total interest at $45,000 and the total debt service, the total repayment of this issuance at about $545,000. So on my next slide, I have an overview of the debt service schedule of this issuance. So the district did qualify for disadvantage funding. So 10% of this loan, $50,000, was issued at an interest rate of 0%. We were also able to utilize the district's debt service fund balance so that we were able to pay off about a third of this loan this upcoming October. So this October, we will pay off $170,000 of this loan. On my next slide, I have the history of the district's TICs. So the 2023 bond sale TIC did come in higher than 2021's and 2020's. You know, if we kind of look at the historical of over the past 15 years, you know, back in COVID times when the Fed had interest rates at 0%. And, you know, since COVID, the Fed has raised basis points, or sorry, has raised the federal funds rate 9 times in the past year. So although we're higher than the last 2 bond sales, we still feel very good about this result, considering where the 10-year treasury is at currently, and also looking at the historical trend of the district's TICs. So I do have a market update in the back, but I'll pause there and see if anyone has any questions for me.
Questions, comments from the board? Dr. Lucas, any questions?
No.
No, thank you. Again, congratulations to the district on the bond sale. We're very pleased with this result. We feel that the district came in at a good time, considering that, you know, between when we priced these bonds back in February, the Fed has raised rates in March. So we got in before that. And, you know, we're expecting that the Fed will raise rates another time before the year end. So well, we feel good about the timing of this transaction. And again, thank you and congratulations to the district.
Thank you.
Thank you. We will be back at your May meeting for the election authorization for the SB 9. So we will see you again soon.
Thank you. For your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great night.
You too.
Yeah, Dr. Lucas.
Okay, next operations report. Any questions for Brian?
I don't, any questions from the board? Comments?
Thank you for looking at those canopies for BTMS and RVT for kids. They had to run in the rain, so or stand in the rain one day, so I told Ryan if there's any money for that, because I felt bad for them standing in the rain.
I have a question, it's not on here, but did we ever find a place for our sped department, our like our speech therapist, our OT and.
Yeah, there's a
School
classroom at
psychologist.
RBT.
No,
for-
at the high school,
Oh, at the high school?
because I know they've been like, sometimes they have to meet outside. And again, there's no shade there.
Yeah.
Or they have to walk maybe around the campus, and I think being that they are on IEPs, that they should have a certain designated area that they can meet, because that way they're able to speak a little more freely without worrying that somebody's gonna hear what they're discussing, and that they have a place
With
to
the
go
PT and OT and all that?
with speech and,
Oh, okay.
and
Where
use
does-
a school psychologist.
So they meet in our conference room.
Okay.
So like George will, well, our speech, I guess.
Mhm.
That's okay, I say George, right?
Yeah.
So George will meet with them in the conference room, or sometimes they'll go walk around the track. OT will do the same thing, well, OT.
Yeah, but it's not because they have it, because they choose to do that, not
OT meets in
because they
the
have to.
OT therapy room here, or they'll
Right.
go around the track or something, yeah.
So if they choose to be outside, is there, they put a canopy and maybe a table where they can sit out of the element, out of the sun?
I know there's tables on the, where the stage is at, right, in that
Yeah.
grass area.
Mhm.
Is there a possible way that we could get like the umbrellas that we got, DTMS to be set over there on several ones? So I know back, I don't know if it was last school year, that we discussed like the classroom settings, if we could put like the science room, the science classroom in the lab,
Right.
and let them stay in there, and then have Miss Holly's room open for speech and any therapy to be in there.
Right, but they decided on keeping it set just because of this, or having to teach so many different classes and having to take down the lab, set it up for different classes. But as far as getting canopies and stuff, we can sure look at that.
And then at Western, where the computers used to be,
Uh-huh.
because it is our building, correct?
Right, yeah.
Can we set up something up there, like
Yeah.
have an extra space for them?
If we have,
Is
is,
it Mr. Bachman's room? Or is it-
No, not
Yeah.
Mr. Bach, you know, the welding, and then where the lab used to be on the right side.
That's his classroom.
that's his classroom, yeah.
So that's his book classroom.
Okay.
So when he first got over there, the classroom was in the welding shop
Mhm.
with desks and books.
Mhm.
And as you can imagine, that wasn't the perfect scenario, because the desks were full of
Yeah.
welding dust,
Mhm.
and books were full of dust.
Yeah.
They use that shop.
So if we can look for a designated area, it'd be nice, if possible, like I said. it's-
Well, we have
There's the turf on the east side of the school, they have the turf set up there.
I-
You just get it kind of great.
Well, I know, but the thing is to have it, well, what if it rains? I know we have that
Well,
conference room,
but they would be outside of it, range.
I know they have that conference room, but
We
I
have the
think
conference
just,
room, we also have the OT room. You know,
yeah.
Which is at the old
We have
field
the
house.
OT,
Yeah.
we have
We
two,
did turn
we
that
have,
one
we
into-
have two classes in
Yeah.
there, one's gonna be for
Okay,
another student, there's another one we can set up. The nurse kind of
Yeah.
utilizes that as of right now, but we also have our, in the new field house, we have our hospitality room that.
I guess we can just do a run through.
Yeah.
And just go check it out and see what it's looking like.
See what's available.
Mhm.
And we talked about the canopies out in our, for the picnic tables out there, it's just, and I don't know if that would increase the utilization from our students, but like, nobody uses that area. I mean, you know, as much as we'd like them to learn.
Yeah.
Any other comments, statements? Not, we'll move along.
Okay, stop. Oh, for your board report. Yeah.
Thought he was
Good
done.
evening, everyone. Board Member Dr. Lucas, President Morales. So we're just moving along, getting towards the end of the school year. We just completed our SAT testing, for our juniors last week. We're going into our NMASR, our science testing next week. We'll use a couple of days next week, we'll have 2 tests on one day, 1 test on the other day. And so our testing will be completed for the juniors to state testing. On the 24th of April, we're gonna have a meeting here at the high school for the Student Health Advisory Committee. Joan is gonna be putting something together, but, so how we've been doing SHAC, the Student Health Advisory Committee, it's really kind of not her responsibility to make sure things are going in that direction. She can guide us, but it's more of the district's responsibility, like the schools. So we're gonna invite parents to the meeting to try to get community involvement for that and move on from there. We'll be looking at dates. Well, I'll let Coach Hooper talk about the dates, because otherwise I might mess them up. But we will have our academic and athletic awards. Everything's pretty much gonna be that last week of our in May. We'll have our prom May 20th, and the enrollment ceremony the 25th in the gym. 26th will be the graduation in the gym. Art Malat's gonna be the guest speaker for the seniors. They asked, or they requested him. And we're continuing just moving towards the end of the school year to make sure that our seniors stay on track to graduate, and reaching out to, well, sending emails to parents about requesting that their students should attend summer school. I don't see what kind of, how many kids will get. And then, and just, continuing to check on, students' grades and progress, and just trying to keep everybody moving in the right direction to where they're moving on to the sophomore, junior, senior status. And then we'll be with DTMS, bringing the kids over probably the 4th, May 4th, when we have our Cinco de Mayo, thank you, Cinco de Mayo, present, thing over here at the high school. And then we'll get the 8th graders come over earlier and just meet with them here. Just kind of so they can see that the school's easy to navigate, and don't get lost.
And all our seniors are on track so far?
So far, so good. I mean,
Good. Yes.
got a few that are slacking right now,
Ooh,
but we'll see.
any questions, comments from the board? If not, we can continue. Go ahead.
Okay.
Good evening. Just pretty much the same thing, just we're continuing on with, just still trying to increase reading, writing, math, just making improvements in there. It's, I think, coming back after spring break is probably like the hardest time of the year, just because some kids have already checked out, so we're just trying to keep that momentum going. We're on next week, we have that first in math celebration for kids in the last 2 periods of the day, for those who have increased their 2,000 count of stickers. And just, again, just a little incentive just to get them to practice more, because again, it's our students are all very capable. They're very smart. They just lack like that motivation to show a lot of times. And that's like really like the main thing that I always see is that motivation. So this just helps in trying to motivate them. We did have last week, the Department of Homeland Security come in to give a presentation on cyberbullying and sexting. And that went really well. We actually had one of our former graduates who works now, just transferred into Homeland Security, come with them, and we recruited her for career day because she started out with Border Patrol, went and did like firearms instructor, where she's like top thing. She worked Secret Service most recently. Now she's in Deming, here in Deming, working with Homeland Security. So, just having her come in and show, hey, there's all these opportunities for you if you're willing to work hard enough to, to get there and take you to all these places. Just, the homegrown girl with, she described herself as a nerdy girl with glasses and DTMS, and this is all that she's done. So we recruited her for career day, which is May, the last Monday that we in May, so around the 22nd, I believe it is. And just overall, the presentation was good, just letting them know what can happen if they are involved in any of that. Student council will go on Wednesday to meet with Hidalgo County with the health advisory committee or council, and just to give them input on what they need, their opinions of what they need from all these programs that we have within the county. So we're taking them over there and they'll have lunch over there. The other community programs are continuing to come into the school. Also on Wednesday, we'll start the rocketry, the after-school program. Vern Richardson will be leading the program and writing curriculum for that after-school program into building rockets and engineering, and the group that it's like a limited group. It's like 12 students from between high school and middle school, and I think it's 9 at RBT that will be able, and they'll have teams of 3. They are, we're hoping that in July, when there's that national competition, that those teams will come out and participate in that national competition. So we're getting that going. We just completed actually we have like 1 student who needs to do makeup testing for our state testing, and that's completed. And we're just trying to keep everything going and running smoothly so we can end the year on a positive note. Any questions?
Any questions, comments? I've got a question on this curriculum mapping that you all, have you finished with it, or are you just working?
So we're working on it. We have the curriculum map, we have the scope and sequence
Right.
set up. So now the next step will be taking that and making the interim assessments and doing just that backwards planning on it.
And how many staff is included or is working on it?
Every staff is doing for their own, whatever subject they teach. So, and we actually have to, because we got like new textbooks for language arts. So our language arts teacher has to start and do, he could either use the old map and pull around, or he can look at the new textbook and kind of like follow that.
Okay,
So.
thank you.
Mhm.
Any questions, comments, anymore?
And just, it doesn't say here, but the national competition for that rocketry is gonna be held here in Lordsburg.
Oh, okay.
So that brings
yes,
a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yes, it's Mr. Richardson was put in charge of it, so he said if we can have it in Lordsburg. So that's the last week in July, so Mr. Robertson, if you'll recruit at least 3 students from high school to go over there and participate in after school, so that we can have a team from the high
There you
school.
go.
And we'll do our best to try and get some junior high kids.
Send us out.
How old do they have to be from RVT?
It's for 3rd and 4th graders. And then it's 5th through high school.
Any other questions, comments? No, we can move on.
And Ms. Gutierrez is not here today, so do you have any questions on hers?
Any questions that we might write down? No? Okay, we can move on.
Okay, Coach?
This will be a fast one, but since you're good, all the shout outs last board, and shout out, happy birthday, board president.
Thank you.
And, okay, I don't have a lot. We got Richard Moore this week. You guys can make a track, that'd be awesome. It's not gonna be like the last one. I know some of you guys got in there, that was crazy. We had 11 teams and a lot of big schools, and a lot of people. We'll probably we're guessing probably half of that. So we're hoping to keep it 5 or under. I don't know, we'll see, but that's what we're hoping to keep it under. Right now, I think there's only 3 teams listed, but we'll be in the last moment. We have a home game this Saturday, baseball. The 22nd, May 22nd, it's a big day. I hope all the board members can be there for that. That's a big one. That's all athletic awards. May 22nd. Love to have you guys. We'll introduce you all, make sure everyone in the community knows who you are. And the next one, not that this has to do with athletics, but we always just go back to back. So we try to encourage them all to be back. And on the 23rd is our academics awards for the school. That final week is a busy week. I think we get the only day that the kids have off, if not, is Wednesday. That's it. That's a big week, that last week of school, so on the calendar. I have nothing else. Holy moly. I know we're clicking along. We did qualify things on track. You guys want to know all that? We got more gets qualified this week. Roman qualified the long jump now, the 100. We got our relays in. Our girls are absolutely tearing up track. Our girls are just, they're good. I think our boys, I think right now might go in the #1, some of the relays in the state. I don't know, it's exciting to watch them. Yeah, and then the whole circuit gets people sports, you guys know that, so. But anyway. Any questions?
Any questions, comments? No?
All right.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it. Go ahead, Dr.
Yeah, truancy report, 124 contacts this month. Well, actually for March. But, you can see across 32 at RBT, 25 at Central, 38 at DTMS, and 29 at the high school. And 24 contacts. Any questions or anything?
Questions, comments? Now we'll move on. Public forum, any
No.
consent agenda approval of accounts payable and payroll liability transactions. Any questions or comments? I'll entertain a motion to pay bills as written.
I'll make that motion to approve the accounts payable and payroll as written.
Motion by Ms. Cole, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Samuels, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Approval of budget adjustment request.
So we have one bar for $11,563. It's an initial budget bar for the rural and low-income schools program. So it's just the startup of it. 11,563.
Any questions or comments on this? Not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the bar as written for 11,000.
I have a question for her. Are you ready? Just kidding. Is it possible to get like monthly statements for the secretaries for the end of the year? Because I know they have to audit their budgets. And they just want like a monthly summary.
Depends on what it is, and, for the whole month.
Yeah, like an
Oh, yeah.
expenditure report or.
Yeah, kind
something
of like this
that.
before.
Yeah,
Individual.
if we can, is it possible that we can send it? Is it from with you or do I get with Julia?
So it would be with me and then, I can,
Forward it to Julia?
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Still a motion, I need a motion to approve budget adjustments request.
I'll make that motion. to
Motion
approve.
by Mrs. Given, is there a second? I'll second. Second by Mr. Plum, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Discussion items in board book.
So we just had the presentation on that. Right. And all it is a system to eliminate paper. So it just depends on how comfortable you are with technology. Because like the meeting would be run like he was showing you, like you would have a laptop. And then like as board president, you would be conducting the meeting, but instead of going through paperwork, you'd just be doing it on. Because like all of this is left over, I think, from last month, so we got to shred all that. It just saves a lot of paper, but it is a cost.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, question.
There's
It's a
costs.
couple of $1,000s a year. I mean,
And then
it's a
top
year.
of that, like laptops for all of us, like the school's gonna pay for that too, or?
Well, we would get laptops. I mean, I don't know, we'd get brand new ones. I mean, we may have some
Oh,
in
there's
district.
refurbished ones here?
Yeah, or we may have some in district that are not being used but we would provide the laptops. So it's just a matter of whether we want to go digitize. I mean, because we do have one estimate out to digitize all our records.
Mhm.
We're still waiting on another couple of quotes, hopefully. But it's just a matter of whether we want to move in that direction or not.
It's It's nice to be
I wanna
paperless,
put my
but
2 cents in now. I like this
Yes.
bottom line.
I like the way you guys are
Whether
sending
I'm
it,
running the
board
meeting or
packets
not,
by
I like
our
this.
emails.
Right.
And then that way we can just write our questions on a piece of paper, because we see it on our laptops, we see it on our
Right, right.
phones.
Yeah. And we don't have to go, that just creates a centralized location that everybody go, you know, it's got our minutes, it's got our agendas, it's got everything that we're required to post in an easy to find, accessible to the public format.
But like I said,
Yeah.
I like this and, you know, being transparent, I think the whole board and our whole system is.
Oh, yeah,
transparent.
yeah, it
And
is.
it's $1,000 a month
No, yeah.
or a year?
It's,
But still, it's like $1,000.
I'd have to go back on
Depends
my email. Yeah, it'd be 2 or 3, and that's every year. And then if they raise the price,
And then if software changes,
Yeah.
well, it's just online, so their software is, yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, it changes, it's a new learning.
To me, honestly, I like the way you sent us our
Okay.
email packets
Yeah.
by our email,
Uh-huh.
and then if, you know.
Yeah, and we still have a couple of board
Right.
members, we print and mail the paper, I mean, because that's what you're comfortable with, so that's what.
Yeah, that's what I'm comfortable with, so I mean, it's up to you guys,
Yeah,
but
so I can-
I'd like to stick,
Okay,
I'd like to stick to this.
You know, I don't see why we should spend.
Yeah.
That money.
okay.
is there a way we could save on paper even more so?
Well, so, I mean, we could have that, I mean, because we don't have to print out an agenda for everyone. Yeah, 'cause we print out the packets
Yeah.
for everybody regardless. I mean,
Mhm.
that could technically be done. We could have our own board book, you know,
Mm-hmm.
just pull up your email with a PDF on it.
Yeah.
That's fine.
But we can also create paper copies for those that want. I mean, it's just.
Come on, Fred.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, I'm sticking to my guns right here. I'm firm on this.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Any
it's-
other questions?
So all of
comments?
us are gonna have our laptops here,
Yeah,
and then you're gonna
except
be.
me.
Just kidding.
A feather and ink.
There you go.
Just kidding, Fred. Just give me all the.
Again,
points for
we
birthday.
can bring it up again next month, Ken, but like I said,
Yeah,
I'm
and another
still
thing-
firm with this.
that board book does, that I don't think you mentioned, like y'all can sign directly in the board book, so like it would kind of eliminate our big one that y'all have to sign.
Yeah.
Although it is nice to have a hard copy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any more comments?
No.
Just B, drug testing?
Right, so, you know, we've been doing drug testing for 2 or 3 years now. You know, we have had some successes and not successes, we've had some complaints, we've had some people like it. But you know, with the legalization of marijuana, and that's the only people who ever caught have been positive for marijuana. I don't know, I have not checked, and I probably should have, but I don't know who to check with. Is if their parents smoke at home and they don't, are they gonna have enough in their system to test positive, or they're tested the next day? So I mean, is it fair to our students to continue drug testing?
Do we have numbers on how many kids have gone through the steps, completed the whole step of?
Well, have we had anybody that's been caught more than once?
Not more than one. So
Yeah.
this year, we had one student during football, and we've had one student during basketball. As of right now. And yeah, they've done their, you know, they go to their 4-hour.
Yeah.
Recovery management.
The code protocol.
Yeah, they follow
Yeah.
they follow the 20
Yeah, we
day,
do get that
20
complaint,
day off, and then the,
what Mr. Lucas
4 hours.
said. We get that complaint and it's hard to, you know, it's hard, because
Is it just that one complaint that parents smoke at home and then?
No, I mean, it's just, you know, why do you want to, you know, when it's, they say, you know, that, well, sometimes there's complaints on the way we hold the drug testing, or that some kids there have been accusations that kids snuck out or left to avoid it. You know, and it is expensive. I think we put in the field, what, about 10,000 a year.
And is it just the student athletes that are getting tested,
Yes.
like other
Yes.
drama?
Well, no, anybody that's in an after-school program should be,
well, anything that's gonna be
like,
Extracurricular?
state.
right,
Like,
state,
you know, like
that has a
there's
state
not-
competition,
You know what
like
I mean?
cheerleaders, all of their athletes
Yeah,
too.
makes
So
sense.
So the drama theater, if we don't compete now, if we competed,
Yeah.
then yes,
then we.
Is it a requirement that we do that?
not at all. That was something that was brought up in the past and we brought it and we, so, and this is not even you know, an action item tonight is
Yeah,
just to
just
get your
discussion.
bill and
Yeah,
to bring it up, because if it's something, if it's the direction we want to go, then I'll have to get with our attorneys to find out how to remove policy from our policy book.
mhm.
So it'll be an action item like next month.
Okay.
For the next school year. I mean, we need to complete the
Right.
school year.
And this recovery management, it's still the same people here in Lordsburg, right?
Yeah, although the
We got
testing
rid of
people
it.
come out of Silver City.
Okay, that's my question.
Yeah, the testing people come out, but like when they go to counseling, it's whoever's there.
I mean, you know, and one of
They're not
the
cost
issues is that like, you know, we're all on the pool. And so, you know, we get chose, but you get chose, and it's random.
And that's what I was just gonna say.
Every single time, for whatever reason why, you get chose, so.
But it is random. I mean,
So
the
we're
computer
accused of
generates
Not
that.
being random, but it's like,
It's like
sorry,
some people every time.
It
Sorry.
catches that same person.
Well, they have
Well,
to
you
go
know,
test it. None of them get caught.
Well, no, I mean,
Yeah, but
the
yeah,
system
right.
but you
randomization
might get
pulls that
tested
same
3 times in
person.
a row just because your number popped up, you know, and it's like, well,
Mhm.
you already know. So you're good, you know, but I don't know, I don't think it's a deter, to be honest with you. I think just them wanting to participate in the sports are deter. You know, for the majority of them, yes, we did catch some in the thing, and that's the, you know,
But in the entire time that we've had this in place, has it done anything? That's
It's hard to
been.
tell. It's hard to judge.
that-
Yeah, because it
that's-
catches
that's
so few. I mean,
positive.
there's so few people that have tested positive. I mean, it's not like, if you go by the testing numbers, it's not like there's a large problem with it. I mean,
Mhm.
you know, there's not a lot of people.
It's not like we're like saying, go ahead and smoke, you know, that's my thing, that's like no drugs at all, you know, but it's kind of, it's hard, like.
Right.
You kind of see.
and then another,
Excessive.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I mean, another concern about it is that, you know, so, which, I don't have a problem with this part where, you know, it's, you know, non-punitive, meaning like, it's a random drug test, so if you get caught, you get 20 days. You know, it's not like if I catch you in the bathroom during a sport, or we catch you, then you're pretty much probably be suspended from the team.
Suspended.
You know, this is just a learning experience, which I don't really have an issue with that part of it, but you know, that's some of the people that talk to me like, well, I don't like it because, you know, this kid's busted for smoking marijuana,
And
and he's not even
out.
kicked off the team. I mean, he's got 20 days off.
Well,
and
that's
that-
what I'm saying,
Yeah.
like, it's, I think just the overall athletic policy needs to be revised,
Mhm.
period. Like other things in the policy has to be revised, and that's why.
That's what we're gonna talk about.
That's why we
next
asked him
Yeah.
to see if
So-
we can have a committee to revise it
Yeah.
and get other people's opinions on it.
And I think we need to, again, I'll stand firm with this, we need to have drug testing. But let's see how we can improve it. So that we don't have too many complaints like this, I don't know.
Well, the thing is, like, you know, there's creative ways where they could pass their test now.
Right.
You know, I'm not saying like if they are doing it or not, but like. These
They know
kids
how.
are clever
They know
how to like not,
Yeah.
you know, come up positive.
I don't think. it's-
Because we cannot stand in there and watch them go to the bathroom.
Exactly.
I don't think
You know,
it's
we
worth the
cannot.
cost.
Yeah, it's not.
And then
one
a
time.
lot of the
It's
thing
not
is,
cost effective. in my
there's,
opinion.
you know, there's a lot of parents out there that say, why can we drug test our students, but we
And not
can't drug
teachers.
stuff our staff,
Yeah, that's.
who's in charge of our kids?
Okay.
It's a do as I say, not as I do.
Well, that's a union thing though.
Yeah.
Well, it's not even.
Ms. Kwame, do you want to
Yeah,
speak?
It's a-
We're getting
But
off
bus
track.
drivers, you do.
Yeah, yeah.
So what we
Bus
need to do
drivers,
is put it in the
yes, but
agenda
I guess
for
we
next
can just
month,
Right.
discuss
so
it.
we can really, if you want to have something to say, Ms. Kwame, please do.
Mhm.
To the union and wherever else, but let's come prepared to really,
Yeah.
even make
Sometimes-
a decision on what we're gonna do
Something we
next
look at
month. So put a
Okay.
discussion and action
Mhm.
item,
Okay.
please.
Cause I think it's gonna be a
Probably have
heavy.
time to review it,
yeah,
it's been in
heavy
place
topic.
for how many,
Yeah.
At
how
least
long has it been in place?
before the pandemic.
4 years.
4
I
years?
think-
Yes.
Four or
I
five
know
years.
for a fact it was right when the vote was coming out about legalizing marijuana in New Mexico.
Right.
Because I remember sitting there talking about it, I said, well, the problem is we're gonna pass this, which I think we're all for at the time, and I said, by next week, that's gonna be legalized, and we're gonna have that,
Right.
and sure enough, the next week it got legalized. Yeah. Anyhow.
It'd actually be a
Three, 4 years, I
discussion.
think. I was still here the first time when it
Yeah,
went
so,
through.
Yes.
so let's put it on the agenda.
Okay.
We'll do something. Thank you for
Okay.
your input, everybody. Thanks. RFP for food service, Dr. Lucas.
Yes, so just to let you know, we'll be going out for RFP for food service. We have to go out every 3 or 4 years. So the time is up. SFE's been our only food service provider, so I don't know what kind of bids we'll get, but
Sure. Any questions, comments on this?
I wish our cafeteria ladies would start just making homemade food or something.
that would be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah.
It'll probably taste better, maybe.
Well,
for
yeah.
Yeah,
kids.
it might entice the kids to eat a little more.
Will that be more expensive?
Probably, right?
Yes.
Okay, number 11, action items.
It is.
Mhm.
Discussion possible action on audit proposals, Dr. Lucas.
So we had the 2 proposals from last month, we tabled it.
Right.
From JAG and then from our ones in Silver City. Um,
Stone and McGee.
Some McGee, they still have not submitted our audit.
Okay.
And
And
this
it was
is their
due in
second
November,
time.
and this is their second time of doing that. so we-
Yeah, that's-
So I would say we need to just.
We
go
need to
with
move
JAG.
forward and get the,
Hermio County Group.
They
JAG.
get fined, right, by the state?
Well, no,
Yeah.
we cannot, I think they can, they can't hold us accountable for somebody else's
yep,
responsibility.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I think.
But it'll be a finding
Put on
against
us.
us, but really it's against the auditor.
yeah.
And we give them how many chances?
Oh, that's too many. Let's move on.
Okay, so
We
then
tried.
we need a motion to do JAG.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to accept the proposal submitted by JAG as the new auditor for the school.
Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Second, motion by Ms. Cole, second by Ms. Esquivel, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Discussion and approval of roof proposals, Dr.
So we
Lucas.
had several proposals, but what I would like to do is reject all bids and then let's go back out again. Simply because they ran from prices from like 167,000 to 400,000.
Wow,
And some included something, so we need to be, I think, a little more specific in the way we word the RFP.
okay,
Because I don't, just from reading the proposals, we don't know if they're apples to apples. So we would like to just go out again.
okay. I'll accept the motion to refuse all proposals for the roofs and move on forward.
I'll make
Is there
that
a
motion.
first, motion by Ms. Esquivel, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Samuels, all in favor?
Aye.
Discussion and approval of 2023-24 school calendar.
There, you do have the survey results, we get parent and staff surveys. Overwhelmingly, everybody, for the majority voted for calendar 1.
Yeah.
And the handout so the calendar 1, staff calendar is one we're recommending. But it is, you probably did 3 different calendars. One was a year round. One was.
Coming into the meeting, I was wanting the year round, but when I got the packet and I was looking at it. I mean, my position is to do what the community and the teachers want, so this is the majority of,
Yeah.
it's kind of pretty
That's,
black and white there.
Draft 1, right?
Yes. draft one.
Are these? Can these be edited still or no?
Well, I mean, it's, you have to approve the calendar. I mean,
Yeah.
so if they edited them, then
Have to approve it next.
we would have to approve it, yeah.
Because I looked at these all day. I tried to work everyone's opinions in that they left from the comments and stuff.
Mhm.
And I like to. Doesn't matter what I like, but draft 2 with changes that included school starting dates correct, but fall break gone, and the 2 days given to Thanksgiving break, and then 2 days given to the 20th and 21st before Christmas. Because I was looking at all the comments, they don't want to start in July. They think the fall break is dumb. And they want Thanksgiving break.
You can't mess with the Thanksgiving break.
No, you don't want to mess with that. So those are my suggestions. I know it's hard to
Accommodate a lot of everybody.
Everybody's, yeah.
We have to
And
try to have it
please-
as balanced as possible.
I like the comment, not, I'm trying to be funny, or,
Uh-huh.
please let them wear their Halloween. costumes.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? I was like, we're discussing calendars, not what they could wear, like, that was kind of funny, but, sorry.
And I love the fall break.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there, so even between the union, when you sent it out, you said it was between calendar 1 and calendar 3, right? Year round.
Yeah, it was interesting because we had people who liked it, they would like calendar 1 and calendar 3. However, I also asked them which one they thought was least desirable. And calendar 3 was overwhelming. It was like they either loved it or hated it. So.
I think calendar 3 just has too much time in between and it's hard enough, you lose kids during spring break and then giving them this much time, you're really gonna lose them.
Coaches,
Yeah.
Yeah,
just saying, year-round schooling kills your coaches, just want to throw that out as that.
so
I
that,
really-
that's
I
probably
have to
out,
admit,
right?
3 is out for me.
3 is out for the board?
Hmm.
Can we all agree on that?
And I love calendar break.
No,
Yeah.
I did too, don't get me wrong, I did too.
Well,
It's just like,
okay,
one
guys,
month, one
everybody's
upset,
said
you
a
know,
lot.
You
Yes.
you lose the kids and
So, but
it's hard to bring them back because they do lose kids
Let
on
me
breaks.
talk, please. I agree with Mr. Plowman on what he said. After seeing everything, I mean, I for one, as a former teacher and administrator, I had no qualms with any calendar that they set out for us. I mean, as a teacher, you accept what they give you and you work with what you got. I think number 1 would be the best one in my book to accept, and that's my recommendation is calendar 1. Like I said, I respect anything and everything that is said here on the table. And I hope you respect my opinion, because this is what that number 1 is about. Number 3, I like year round. My kids and the cruises are going year round and they love it. But like I said, right here, I'm going for that number 1 calendar.
Another thing on that too, this is kind of like normal for the teachers and the
Mhm.
students. I guess the parents.
right, it's pretty much the same calendar as what we had this year.
You're right.
They might be a little bit afraid of change. But another thing I was thinking was maybe a year of change to try it, but that coming in, like I said, coming in, I was thinking, well, you never know to try it, but after seeing the numbers, it's like, I don't.
Yeah, and that's the survey said a lot. Go ahead, yes, Ms. McCoy.
So in our administrative meeting, we came up with the second calendar, kind of like a in between where there's a break after every 9-week period, just as maybe as a way to maybe get into year round eventually, kind of like a medium between the two. So just, I won't say my opinion on any of the calendars because like Mr. Morello said, whatever calendar you all choose, I'll show up to work. So it doesn't matter, but that's just for the number 2 came in.
I just thought 3. Just kidding. They have June open, but then they start on the
Well,
14th
you
of
have to
July.
make a decision.
So it's 2 weeks.
Again, my recommendation is calendar 1.
Do you want to-
So what days were you talking about? Amy? About switching?
On calendar
On
2,
two, yeah.
moving the 4 days for Halloween. For fall break. I got those 4 days and taking 2 and putting them the 20th and 21st of November. And then the other 2, the 20th and 21st of December.
Is that possible, Ryan? You were working very hard on these calendars.
I know.
On draft 2, take.
Yeah, draft 2, she said to take the week of October and move 2 days from that week to Thanksgiving break.
And then,
Okay.
and then for Christmas, add the 20th and 21st. So that would be the 4 days.
Okay,
Probably.
we need to ask, we need
Is that the schedule? that
guys,
goes out there
we're
on
sort of taking over here, that the tall, we need to get our tall representative,
Well,
included. I mean, we just can't do it on our own. We have to do what they want to. And I mean,
The
and
union.
again, we have to go with all this information from the results of the surveys.
And
what
Ms.
they
Wong
want.
said that either
It's not
one
what
and
we
two
want, it's
were,
what they want.
one and three.
nobody likes to.
Nobody
Nobody
liked
liked
to.
to.
Okay, so there it is.
So it's one and
And number three.
And I read all the comments and put it together.
I just want to throw it out there.
Ms. Wong has.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, can I make
Right,
a,
let's
this
bring
is
three back in.
this is a comment coming from me and not from, any tell, things that I've seen. And because I didn't ask them about this, and that is, one of the things that we have to remember at the high school level is that last day of every semester is final exams. And, we have 7 exams that we take, and that is 20% of our students' semester grades.
Same at the middle school.
Yeah, and the thing is, if we take that time there in that last week in school.
That's hard, yes, definitely.
So just, so you know, that's what we do.
And I say that's why it works better, number one for you guys.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Because they have the Memorial Day off, so they'll only have those 3 days.
Just go to
Oh,
school.
So they're afraid kids aren't going to come back to school, they're just gonna take their last week off.
For the finals.
And I see why you pushed it up as well, right? No, because draft number 3 still has it at the last week of May. So the best option would be number 1,
And that's
due
when the
to
teachers
those
are happy.
exams.
Again, my recommendation is calendar 1.
Get a calendar one, that's where our
Just
our
based on-
teachers and
yeah.
staff are happy.
Exactly.
Just
That's
based
where I'm
on
coming from.
exams.
Again, I'll accept the motion to accept calendar 1 as written.
I'll make a motion to accept calendar 1 as proposed.
And I'll second.
Motion by Mrs. Cole, second by Mrs. Esquivel. Cole. Members on this one, Mr. Plowman. Aye. Ms. Samuels.
Aye.
Ms. Esquivel,
Aye.
Ms. Cole,
Aye.
myself, aye. Motion carries calendar 1. Thank you. Appreciate all the input. Thank you for the surveys too.
All your hard work.
Anyway, there's no executive session. We did not get a good lease proposal, so we don't have to go to executive session. And that one with all, this is